Hello, everyone. And as they say in different parts of South Asia, Namaste, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the second episode of my show, HumeraWood. I had a really great time doing the show last week. This week, I'm going to do the show about music. As I like to say, the word music unites the word us, both literally and in real life. Music has the power to transcend borders. It connects people from all over the world. It has the power to change the mood of a room within seconds. I'm going to be joined in a little bit by two members of my team. When I say they're members of my team, I mean that they are going to be on different episodes of my show, and they're going to help me discuss different topics, and they're going to help me interview special guests. This show, I have a couple of very special guests who are going to join me later on. They all are very diverse from each other, but they have one thing in common: their love for music. So before I get into that, I want to show something that I promised my audience I would show. I've been very fortunate to have met many famous Bollywood stars. I've seen different films being shot in Bombay, which is Mumbai now. The last show I showed photos of me with Salman Khan. Now, whenever you say Bollywood to anyone who's even remotely familiar with Bollywood, they know the three Khans. Shah Rukh Khan, who I met and I was on the same plane with. Salman Khan, who I also met and I showed the photo with him last time. And the third one, can you guess? Yes, Amir Khan. That's me. I was 15 years old. That's Amir Khan, and that's my sister. This was taken at Film City Studios in Mumbai. It was during the filming of Javani Zindabad. Actually, there's a whole story to this behind this photo. This is another photo. That's him with my sister, me, and my mom. And then this is the shooting. So actually what happened is he is related to some people we know. So we got to go to this filming of this movie. And afterwards, we actually even had dinner with Amir Khan's parents at Holiday Inn Hotel in Mumbai. There's a Chinese restaurant there. And in Mumbai, when you say like Holiday Inn, it's not like here. Like in Mumbai, it's a 5-star hotel. Like it's grand. Like, I mean, you'll see all Bollywood stars. If you just go in the lobby, you'll see Bollywood stars walking. And so we were in the Chinese restaurant eating with Amir Khan's parents. It was me, my parents, my sister. And this was during the days of the super hit movie Dil. It had just been released. And so we were like having dinner, and then I'm just sitting and the door's right there. And in walks Madhuri Dixit, who at the time was the #1 heroine of Bollywood. So she walks in with her secretary, and his name is Riku. And I remember I recognized him because I used to read Stardust and Cineblitz, which are like all the magazines with all the information about Bollywood. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, it's Madhuri Dixit. And then everyone at the table is like, what? And like, she had no makeup on. I mean, she was trying to be very incognito, but I still recognized her. So then I'm like, oh my God, it's Madhuri Dixit. So when we were having dinner, Amir Khan was not at the dinner, but his parents were. So his father, Tahir Hussain, who's also a producer of Bollywood movies, he got up and he went to Madhuri Dixit's table and he said, Acha, so Madhuri beti bhi hai yahan par, which means, oh, so Madhuri's sitting here. So she got up and she came to our table, and I'm telling you, she had no makeup on. She was actually wearing a burqa, which is like the Islamic, like covering the black, where you have black and you cover your face and you can flip it over and you see your face and your hair's covered. And she had that on because she had just come back from seeing the movie Dil in the movie theater in Mumbai. So she didn't want people to recognize her because, as Mother and I spoke the last show, in India, if you're a Bollywood star and you try to go anywhere, like not like, I mean, the 5-star hotels, like I was saying, if you go to the lobby, they don't get like there they can still be a little bit free, but if they are like on the street, outside, anywhere, I mean, they get mobbed by, I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people are just like, they just want to see them, they just want to touch them, they just want to have anything, breathe the same air, like it's insane. So it's been a really great experience, but this show, like I said, is about music. And hello, Madhu.
Hi,
How are
Amanda.
you?
Nice to see
Namaste, Anna
you
Melody.
again.
Now, okay, now Madhu, of course, the audience had the pleasure of meeting Madhu my last episode, and we heard about her life. This episode, Melody is my friend, and actually, we met through our love of music. So we've become really good friends, and I've learned that Melody loves Bollywood. She loves Bollywood music. Melody, will you please give an introduction and kind of like explain how you got into Bollywood music?
Sure. My name is Melody Rogers. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm 26. I'm a visual artist. I found Bollywood music when I was in high school, just going through Netflix. And I had never seen anything like it. Now I listen to it all the time, especially with my little toddler, my daughter. She loves it too. Yeah.
Well, your daughter's named after a singer, not a Bollywood singer, but a Hollywood. But she's not named after her, but she has the same name.
Yeah.
As what is your daughter's name?
Fiona. So like
Fiona, like also in Shrek. Remember Fiona from Shrek? Yeah. So I'm so happy. Madhu and Melody are my M&Ms. To my Hershey bar. So, we're a team, and it takes a team not only on screen, but behind the scenes, our producers, to put on this show. So let's get right into it. My first special guest is supposed to join around 1:20. So before that, I want to talk about Zayn Malik. Like my team, I gave them homework to study and music to listen to. So let's get right into it. Okay, so Zayn Malik. Now, Zayn Malik, if you don't know, he was a member of the super duper duper group One Direction. One Direction was 5 guys. They all auditioned for the X Factor in England. They did not win, but then Simon Cowell, who's the head of the show, he brought them back. He formed a band, and just to let you know, the first album they put out, they set records. Like they were the first UK group to debut their album at #1 in the USA, and I'm talking, this is the same league as the Beatles. Okay, so what do you guys think of that?
I look. First of all, I think Zayn Malik is something else. I mean, he's such a good-looking guy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Even with all his tattoos, he's still like
Cool kind of.
I mean, the tattoos enhance him. It's art. He's art.
What a tough life to be so good-looking, have so much talent, and to be able to date supermodels. I mean, you have to be sorry for the guy.
Well, like I was telling Madhu, and also Melody, like everybody knows about he was with One Direction. He's been in the news lately because he's dating supermodel Gigi Hadid. They just had a baby together in September. But what a lot of people don't know is that he loves Bollywood. He grew up, his dad is a Pakistani, I guess probably British. I don't know the exact term. So he grew up listening to Bollywood music. He's actually even recorded a couple of Bollywood songs. He's worked with superstar music director from Bollywood, Humera Rehman, who produced the music for Slumdog Millionaire. Did you watch that movie, Melody?
Yeah.
Slumdog. Did you like it?
It was so sad, but it was obviously, happy ending.
Well, let me ask you something, Melody, because you love Bollywood music. Now, what's your favorite out of all the music you've listened to? Like you said, it just makes you cry the first song you ever listened to from I Am Khan, right? And that's one of the 3 big cons I was talking about earlier, Shah Rukh Khan's movie. So please tell me a little bit about that.
So that movie was one of the first that I remember watching in high school. And I think it's a music trio who did the soundtrack. I forget the names, but there's 3 famous.
I think I know you're talking about. I can't remember the name either, but they're like 3 brothers.
Shankar, Ehsan, and Loy.
Shankar, Ehsan, Loy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, that's why it's good. We have someone from India. We have someone from America. I'm kind of like Indian, grew up in America, so it's like different viewpoints here. Okay, go on, Melody.
I know, worries. So that music is I have a whole playlist, and it's mostly from that movie. I don't know
Oh,
if it's that specific genre because of that movie. I listen to other Bollywood films, Bollywood music, and it's a little bit more theatrical, a little bit more upbeat. But the music from My Name Is Khan was just very emotional, and it aided the movie so well that whole experience just enveloped me. So.
I mean, do you like the dancing? Like, everybody's like dancing in sync. I mean, we even saw the filming of that. I mean, they have to shoot so much different shots to get like, everybody to be choreographed just right,
I know, right?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how much time goes into because the movies themselves are long, but you have multiple musical numbers, multiple choreographed.
Yeah, and there's hundreds of backup dancers. I mean, it's like insane the clothing they wear. Now, I just want to go back to Zayn Malik because, like, a lot of people don't know that he's actually working with music director A.R. Rahman, and they're working on a Bollywood song for a future movie. He's going to be singing it, and Zayn Malik's already released a couple of. He did some covers to some famous Bollywood movie songs because in India. Actually, they have pop singers and stuff, but the most famous, like, chart-topping music is the Bollywood movie music. So I want to, like, this one song from Zayn Malik, I'm just going to play it really quick. And this was a cover he did of a Salman Khan super hit movie called Race 3. And I really like this song. The only thing is that when he sang it, people said of course, you're always going to have critics no matter what you do. There's going to be someone criticizing you.
so true.
But I think, he didn't have to do this. I mean, he's so famous globally. And not only did he do this, but on his albums, he's also added Qawwali, like, sounds, which is Islamic Sufi, it's like gospel music, like devotional music with drums and this, that. So, okay, I'm going to have you listen to this song. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm going to get to a good part on it. You hear it? It's a little dance party.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, so I mean, like, I actually liked it, and on his album, his first album, which actually he broke some records on his own. He was with One Direction, and then after 5 years, he was performing at a concert with One Direction in Hong Kong, and he was on stage. He just started crying, like, and the whole band is all happy, and then he's just sitting there crying. And so then a little bit after that, he was engaged at the time to, I think, a British pop singer named Perry something. I can't remember her last name, but there was a photograph. What?
I think the last name was Edwards.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Madhu. So then a little bit after the Hong Kong concert, he was in Thailand. They were on tour, and he was like, of course, with celebrities, if you get photographed doing anything, it's like sensationalized. So there was a photo taken of him holding some girl's hand, and that just kind of blew up, and people were like, "Oh, Zayn's cheating," and this and that, and he went to a deep depression. And I want Mother to hit on this a little bit because she's a psychologist, but, like, he already suffers from panic attacks and anxiety, and then he's a celebrity on top of that. That was the reason he first cited for leaving One Direction. He said, I just need to get out of the spotlight. I need time to myself to be a normal 22-year-old he was at the time. So, Madhu, can you talk a little bit about that with mental health and being a celebrity?
Oh, sure. I think being a celebrity takes a huge toll. Even in our little circles of life, when we have so many relationships where we are popular with some group, some not. Like typical high school girls, for example, belong to a cliche, and there's always a leader there. You cannot always have adulation. It's unreal to expect that. But once your level of expectation goes up that high, coming down from that is very difficult. And when you're on the global stage and you have millions of people who adore you and love everything about you, and then somebody replaces you, as will be, but it takes a certain
Yeah.
age and maturity to reach that within yourself, that, after a certain point of time, there'll be somebody else people will love more than me. And it takes a very, very strong person with a strong support system to be able to do that. And I think,
Oh my, this is my first. I'm sorry, but this is my first special guest. Not only is he super talented, super smart, but he also has really cool cousins. This is my cousin brother, Asghar, by Asghar Hussain. He's an orthopedic surgeon in California, but also he is the lead singer of a band called Public Jones, who have performed like in different places in the world, and they won the Best Alternative Group at the Hollywood Music and Media Awards. Gilby Clarke from Guns N' Roses gave my cousin the award. So he has his clinic right now, so he's taking time to be here. So Asghar, how are you? Can you hear us?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me
So
along.
what's it like? I mean, I was reading about Public Jones, and what the first thing that caught my attention is when you said that when you first were at University of Miami with Peter, the one thing that connected you was your sense of disconnection from the world you grew up in. Now, my question is to explain that, but also did that have anything to do with you being first generation Indian in America?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know this. When we're raised in an Indian Muslim culture, there's certain ideas that people have about parenting. This is the way things are. This is the right way. But then when you grow up in America, you have a whole different paradigm. And then all of a sudden, those two are different. And if this one goes, well, you shouldn't think this way, then you kind of start going, well, maybe the way I'm thinking is wrong. But then once you start doing that, it's a really bad road that you get on, because then all of a sudden you just kind of go, there's something about me that's wrong. And when you're in college, you want to be a part of the bigger group. You want to feel like you belong somewhere. And if you somehow feel like, wait, what I'm thinking is wrong, then it's put you in the wrong state. And at a certain point, you just decide, well, I guess I'm not like everybody else. I guess I'm not going to fit in. And then it ultimately creates pain, really. It creates pain. And the interesting thing that both Peter and I found, and many people find this in any art, is I feel like if you look back at art over the ages historically, one of the things that really fascinates me the most is that you can see that people are expressing the things inside. They're expressing their pain somehow, whether it's through painting or music or film or TV or anything. And that's what really appeals to me, because I found that everyone has a song that they can listen to that puts them in a different place. We all know that. Sometimes you'll hear something, you'll feel something. Maybe it reminds you of being a child. Maybe it reminds you that really.
Oh, what happened? He froze.
yeah. And he was just getting to such an interesting thought.
Let me text him really quick. But what he's saying is so true, because the one thing me and him have in common is that, wait, let me play a song of his one thing that we have in common is he grew up in Okeechobee in Florida. Are you back?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, good.
Is that my connection here? Is that something all around?
I don't know. Sometimes what I learned from the last shows my dad was on, and me and Madhu, to us, he looked upside down. But when I actually watched the broadcast later, he was right side up. So I really don't know if what I'm watching is actually what the audience is seeing. But I want to just quickly play a song of yours that actually was called A Critic from London. He said it was Alex Watson from Recharged Radio London. He called this song the catchiest song of that year. I mean, he's an orthopedic surgeon by day, rock star by night. I mean,
there you go.
Amazing.
And you're so talented.
Thank you. All you need is to feel. All you need is to feel like when you grab music, you feel like, here's where I belong. And then all of a sudden you have an area where in music and in art, I mean, there is no real rule. No one is ever going to tell you that is not the way to express yourself. Because you
Exactly.
can do anything that you want. And when you're in college and you're feeling completely disconnected, that is exactly what you need to fuel the right fires, because then you can dig inside, and it's like having your own psychotherapist. You can just
Yeah.
go, all right, here's what I'm
Mother's
feeling.
psychologist.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
You can,
I remember you, like, my earliest memories of you was when we were at your house in Okeechobee. His mother delivered pretty much all of Okeechobee, so she's OBGYN. But I remember he's the second of 5 brothers, okay, and they're all brilliant, they're all talented. And I remember in your, like, house, you guys would have concerts, right? Do you remember
yes,
that? You play guitar and
yes,
sing, and
yes.
I was like a little kid. But what's interesting is your music with Peter. It's such, I mean, there's a fusion of so many different types of music, like funk and EDM and like, I mean, just everything. So can you just like tell us what it's like? Because you performed in Europe, you had a DJ in Berlin remix your song. I mean, tell me what your best memories are about performing, like, on tour and just whatever, like share your stories. I want to hear everything.
Well, look for every, I think Wooden, who's a famous coach, once said, make every day your masterpiece. And so I think that's kind of what it is. And
I don't know why he's freezing, but like he has such deep words of wisdom. I mean, like he has Are you back? I don't know why maybe because he's actually from LA. He's coming from California. Mm-hmm. But anyway, like, I mean, did you guys read his information, right?
I did, and what I did want to ask him is that did his interest in music generate from? Does he have it in his background, like his mom, dad, grandparents?
Well, I know, like he comes from kind of a conservative family. And so I know, like, what he was saying about the disconnect, like, because we're first generation, like, I have this similar thing because I'm sure your kids also feel the same way, Madhu. And also, Melody's, to an extent, she's still little, but her, like, Melody's, her baby's father, he is half Ukrainian and half, is it, like, Albanian?
Armenian.
Okay, so it's 2 different cultures, and actually, her daughter has very close contact with her grandmother, who's from Ukraine. So what's that like, Melody? Like, because there's different languages being spoken.
Yeah. So her grandmother really only speaks Ukrainian and Russian. So we have that constantly through the house. It's also a lot of cultural stuff over there. It's very common to have multiple generations in the home. Because
in India also,
right?
India, yeah,
and Ukraine, especially because their economic standing, it's just a lot easier to have your whole family there, all contributing. Sure. So that's been a learning curve for me, having my mother-in-law here. But it is really great because my daughter has that love in her life and that influence that I can't give her. We have completely different cultures, but I think that's good for everybody to have that from a young age.
Yes. And Oscar back. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hey, note to self: if you invite me back again ever, I'll make sure we have a landline.
Okay.
I'm on a laptop with Wi-Fi, and you know how that goes. So I apologize.
So I want to talk about your experiences. You wrote. Okay, now your songs are incredible. Okay, like they're like the wording. I mean, it's just such like the message that you convey in your music. Not only did you sing. Okay, not only did he sing, play guitar, play keys. He also shot the. Did you write the music too? Okay, Rosie. Well, let me just say, he shot the video for like one of the songs called "Disconnected." When he comes back on, I want to ask him if the word.
I read it in the information you sent.
Are you back? Are you back?
Fascinating. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? Let me, if it's not going to disrupt your show, let me see if I can connect you from a landline here.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you're fine. I mean, we still have time, so like.
Okay.
Are you?
Okay, are we good? Because that might be simpler, so I don't have to keep bouncing out. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, if you want to do that, we'll just talk, and then you can come back on. Is that okay?
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna do that? You're gonna hop
Absolutely.
off and reconnect?
Yes.
Reconnect!
I'll hop on and I'll reconnect.
Yeah, okay.
See you
So,
guys shortly.
Okay.
so Humera, how is he your cousin? Like you said.
Okay. So this is how we're cousins. My mom, her mother was from a very conservative family, and it was in India, and women didn't go and work. They stayed at home. My mother's mother, my maternal grandmother, was a very like ahead of her time type of person. So she was the first woman to like leave like in her family and go get a job. And not only did she get a job, she
Wow.
became the principal of the best all boys school in Hyderabad, India, like a city at that time of 8 million people.
No way.
And her students were like royalty. I mean, like they were like the cream of the crop. So she actually, her youngest sister is his mother's mother. So we're second. I mean, I don't know, in America, like this is another thing. Sometimes the terms we use is different than what like mainstream America uses. Because I remember, so I think Melody was telling me the other day about her twice removed cousin or something. I don't know what any of that means. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we just say my second cousin or my first cousin or my uncle. And, you know, in India you have different names like for your mother's brother or for your dad's brother. But when it comes to cousins, either like my first cousin or second cousin, or you know, not, we don't use the far this removed or that, like I don't even know what that means.
Removed, right? Or twice
Yeah,
removed.
but like he's the second of 5 brothers. His wife, she's actually she's not Indian, she's American descent, but she is a regular political contributor on like different news channels. She's been on Fox News and I think like different, you know, I mean she's very liberal, and she even has her own radio show, and she's very talented. And she like, so his oldest brother, I mean they're all so smart, like they've all like graduated, like, you know, one of the top of their class. Like I know he's orthopedic surgeon and a rock star at night. His youngest brother, who's a year younger than me, he went to MIT and he majored in neuroscience. He was like the valedictorian of his high school class, but he went on, and actually him and Asghar Bhai's other younger brother, they were in a fusion band in San Francisco, which fused together like Western music with Indian sounds, like Indian instruments and this and that. Yeah. So when Asghar Bhai hops back on, I kind of want to talk to him about if he had any influences, like because he grew up like, you know, in an Indian family, exposed. He's been to India. His wife's been in. Oh, there he is! Yay! You're on the landline.
Hopefully this will work, huh?
I think I'm sorry for that. You know what's funny is one of the biggest annoyances I've ever had on the road is something very simple technically. Something's unplugged, you're not over here, you're not over there. And I've had catastrophic failures. I had a show in London where we had all these things that were shipped to to London. And what you don't realize, which everyone knows, is it's a different power system.
Yeah.
So I have American stuff, and on stage I burned through all of the stuff I had.
Oh no! What happened then? You just went blank.
What do you do if you have nothing to play out of, and then you just have a drummer? Well, the show must go on.
Yeah.
So I did the show with whatever I had, and it was pretty funny actually.
Oh, you did know.
It's a lesson about entertainment, which you just realize is, you know, it somehow comes from your. I hate to make this sound corny, but it somehow comes from your heart. It's sincere, right?
What?
It has to be sincere when you deliver.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's talk about your video disconnected that you filmed. Like, can you like explain the premise? This video is about following you throughout a day, and it's just kind of like his point of view, right? Is it your point of view, or is it?
So what's funny? As a fan of art and film, I always wondered, can you tell a story if you just saw a small part of the movie? So if you just saw one little bit of it, can you tell a story that makes sense somehow? So I started taping this camera to my arm, and I just looked to see, what do I do with my hand? Where does my hand go today? And it turns out that there's a lot of things you can find. You just figure out where the hand goes. And then I asked, what would be an interesting story to tell that way? And that was the genesis of that. It was just some experimentation. And then I called up one of my friends who's a filmmaker, and he kind of helped me out a little bit with it as well too. And I think the thing that was the most, I don't know if fun is the word, was there was a scene we did where I needed the character to get hit by a car, and I originally wasn't going to be in it. And I asked all these people that I know, listen, I need you to just get lightly hit by a car. And they said, what?
No problem.
What's wrong with you? Why would anybody do that?
I would have done it.
Oh my God.
And then I said, well, like many things happen, I just went, okay, I guess I have to do it myself. So I became the character. And so I had to figure out, who can I get to hit me with a car that's going to be realistic? And so I called up my brother and said, hey, like, I need you to just lightly hit me with
Which brother? Which brother?
I called it back.
Oh, okay.
He goes, are you feeling okay? I said, just 20 miles an hour. I'm going to roll over it. I need it to look realistic.
Oh, me? I thought he was asking about. Okay.
Yeah, no. That's what that was the response I got when I asked him. I said, look, I'm doing the scene of a video and I need to get hit by a car. And he just said, are you doing all right? Is something wrong with you? Like, why would anyone do that? I said, it's a video about the fluctuations we go internally and the self-destructive things that we can do. And it in some ways is the kind of the climax part. Like there's this thing that happens where all of a sudden you wipe out the main protagonist, if you want to call it that. And so, like many things happen, I had to do it myself. And I took a few takes of it because people went, I didn't look realistic enough. Yeah. But by the time I was done, I actually physically hurt myself, which was kind of interesting.
Oh, no.
I'm asking, did your parents love that?
Yeah. How did your parents react to your music? I want to hear that, actually. That's quite interesting. That's a good question.
I'll tell you that often. I think they're still trying to figure me out,
I can say the same thing for my dad and me because I live with my parents. They help me raise my son, and my dad's a psychiatrist. Yeah. So, it takes him. He has to differentiate, like me as his daughter, and then me, no matter in Indian families, no matter how old you are, your parents still see you as a little kid. There's no age where they say, okay, you're like an adult now. It doesn't happen. I don't know. At least with my parents, it doesn't happen. I don't know about you, Oscar, but
it kind of. Well, it brings up this whole idea of emotional health. I think if a parent's job is I want everybody to follow the principles that I believe in. Okay, that's classic parenting. The problem really is you sacrifice a relationship in order to accomplish that. That's the problem. So if you ask yourself, my goal is to have a really amazing relationship with the people that I want to hang out with. That's a whole different situation. And that means if my son, my daughter, my friend, my brother, my sister, if any of those people feel a certain way, if I just say, look, I'm not going to talk to you because I don't believe that way, well, you have immediately tossed the relationship out the window. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so when you can really open up your eyes and see where someone is, and they see that you see where they are, then it's very powerful. And I think if more parents did that will completely change the way we relate to our families. And certainly in our culture, that's not what happens, right?
Well, with my son, I gotta say, he's 17 years old, and I listen to he loves rap and hip hop, and I listen to his music with him. At least I know what he's listening to. He's gonna listen to it anyway. I took him to his first concert with his best friend, Travis Scott.
Yeah.
So it was hello, DJ Red. This is Jamie Brewer. Welcome, Jamie, DJ Red. So this is Oscar Hussein, Melody from Charlotte, Madhu, and me. Now, DJ Red did something very interesting. He was the first DJ to perform in Nepal. First American DJ. Yeah. First American. Followed after him, he was the pioneer. He did it, and then Diplo and Steve Aoki were after him. So you were the first.
Yep. And Marshmallow after that.
Well, let me tell you something. Oscar is my cousin, and he's also the lead singer of a band that won the Best Alternative Group at the Hollywood Music and Media Awards. And he actually, one of his tracks was remixed by a DJ in Berlin who's on Ohm Records. Yeah.
I used to be a rep for Ohm.
Oh, well, hello. You probably know the DJ.
Who did the remix?
Oh goodness! I knew you would ask me that.
I have it. Okay, it was. Hold on. Wait, hold on a second.
What's funny? We met him when we were doing a show there, and so it's funny. I met a whole bunch of people while we were over there, and I know his thing was just that. And then, what's funny, it brought me into the whole world that you guys are in, which is kind of fascinating.
It's a different world. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it was DJ Frankie Flowers from Berlin. You know him?
Absolutely.
Well, you need to remix another one of his songs because Jamie is super talented, okay? He is like in Charlotte. He is known. Like he's one of the DJs that everybody knows. He has such a diverse range, like a wide range of music that he spins. What is your favorite type of music, Jamie?
Music.
Music. Yeah, I mean, like music has the power to transcend borders.
Absolutely. I didn't get into DJing to play just one style. I wanted to be like the Navy SEALs of DJs. Like you could airdrop me anywhere in the world and I could rock the party. Like that was my whole vision. And we really put that to the test.
Yeah. I want to hear about, because Asghar and me have been to India. I haven't been in Nepal. Nepal's where the Himalayas are. It's north of India. They speak Hindi there. I know Bollywood is really big there. But what was that like going there? Like what for you?
So my trip was very interesting. So I left here and had a layover in Dubai and played in Dubai. So to go from here, where like everybody's doing okay, to Dubai, where everything is over the top, and then finish out in Nepal, where they don't have a lot, but they will give you the shirt off their back, and everybody is so welcoming and loving. It was a seriously like touching experience. It's an amazing place.
So like I saw that you played with some local Nepali DJs. Yes. So how did the crowd, like, how was their reception of you and your music?
So they absolutely loved it. They are so high energy. Actually, when I was at the hotel, probably the day before, I asked the promoters, I was like, hey guys, is there any song like that's really big right now in Nepal that would really kind of catch them off guard if I played? And they put me onto a song actually from a movie called Mira. The movie was Parango Dunga. I think I'm saying that right. I'm probably not.
I don't. Is this in Nepal? Because Nepal also has their own film industry.
Yeah.
So like it might be something that's not Bollywood, but
it was a Nepalese movie.
Yeah.
There's a romantic comedy. But I can play it for you. They told me about this song, so I was like, all right, let me take that and put it with some American music. And at the time, Justin Bieber had Cold Water, so I had them translate the lyrics from Nira, and they're basically talking about the same thing. Like he loves this girl, and he's trying to show and prove that he can do whatever she needs and be there for her. So I put them together and I played it, and they lost their minds.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
How creative of you. That's wonderful.
So I know Asghar Bhai, he took time out of his busy schedule to be on my show, and I'm so thankful for that. Now, Asghar Bhai, so just like, I mean, if you have to go back, I totally understand, but I do want to hear, just have any like Indian instruments influenced your music? Because I know you do the guitar and like you do the drums. They have harmonium in India, and they have sitar. I don't know, Jamie, because I know you produce music, Jamie. Do you ever when you went to Nepal, were you like kind of touched by some of the local music and you incorporated it into your music?
Absolutely. I love the sound of a sitar.
Sitar, yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those instruments that you feel the emotion from and can really connect with you. And it immediately, no matter what kind of music you put it with, it transports you to a magical place.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult instrument to play. Asghar Bhai, what about you? Did it influence you at all?
It's funny. Years ago, when we went to India, I found an old sitar in an attic that my mom used to play as a child. So it's in my studio.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, I have a sitar, I have a sarod, I have some tablas. And just like Jamie said, I mean, I think if we hung together, we'd probably talk for 2 or 3 hours because I love all music. And I find that it's just what you said. It's that there are things you can find from everywhere. And just like you said, I love, I'm sure we go through these phases. You just listen to, oh, I'm listening to all Indian music this day, or I'll listen to all this, or I'm listening to Prince yesterday, or I'm listening to Rammstein another day, or Marilyn Manson, or even just old Indian ghazals. You listen to stuff, and they all touch you in different ways. And then, and so yes, absolutely. In fact, in some of the music that we wrote, I wanted to honor the music without kind of stealing from them, or just kind of, I hate to use the word bastardize it. I feel like if you just take a riff, you just kind of do it, that's the wrong way. But if you put it in the way it's intended with some sincerity and you put it in there. So yes, sitar, at least for me, because I don't know how to play them well yet, I have a whole library of samples. And so I've been learning a lot about production and how can you really produce something well so it sounds really good. So I have a whole arsenal of stuff with a bunch of things I just found on the road. I have this flute I got from Morocco. I have a sarod from India. I have this these flutes from China, and I have this one thing I found when I was on a little adventure in Paris. So all these little things that just go in to help you make music and to add different touches to it. To me, they're almost like spices. I don't know if Jamie agrees with that. You throw this little spice in.
Well, I gotta share something about Jamie and I that, in a random conversation that we had, we were at the Democratic National Committee Convention in Charlotte, and somehow we got on our blood types. Asghar Bhai will find this interesting. So we found out me and Jamie share the rarest blood type in this world, AB-RH negative. Less than 1% of the whole world has it. Me, President Clinton, President Obama, Marilyn Monroe, Princess Diana, Mick Jagger, and Jamie all share that blood type. What blood type are you, Asghar Bhai? Because we're family, I'm wondering.
I'm O negative. Is there any of you guys bleed out? Just call me. I'll give you my blood.
Oh, okay.
I'm ready.
There we go.
Okay, good to know.
But listen, if it's okay with you, I gotta run. If it's okay.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna move your clinic. Thank you so much for taking time. It's been my honor, and this is the first time I'm seeing him, honestly, in like 20 years, maybe. Like, really, like the last time I think was in India. Like we need to have a family reunion.
Yes, exactly. Or if not, I'll just come on your show another time when I
definitely, yes. Maybe we can have some like Adil Bhai and Art of his brothers who are in the fusion band too. We can have a whole little love fest, But thank you, Asghar Bhai. Have a great day.
You guys have a great day.
Bye.
Very nice to meet you. Very nice.
Okay, so Jamie, I want to also talk about, so going back to your Nepal experience. So how did you find like Nepal? I haven't been to Nepal, but if it's anything like India, then if you're coming from America and you go there, it's like a different universe. Like it's just so different.
It is. The first thing that hit me was the traffic. The traffic is unlike anything I've ever seen. It could be a little unnerving, but yeah. So everything. I was just a sponge on that trip. Just wanted to absorb as much as I could because you never know. Like it's hard to be the first to do anything, and it's really hard to be the first American to do anything.
Oh, they have such misconceptions over there. They're like, I don't.
So I didn't know if number one, if I'd ever have the chance to get back. So I spent 7 days over there and tried to talk to as many people. I visited other DJ schools, and just tried to see as much as I could and absorb as much as I could because it was so special.
How long were you there for?
7 days.
Oh, so the jet lag and everything. Melody, anything to add?
Well, I was just going to ask him, like, did you have like a favorite Bollywood song, something that you heard and you just kind of related to that?
Well, so with that it's not a Bollywood song. It's more. It was a Nepalese movie song. Would be the Humera song that I remixed because that movie. I was there in 2016, and that movie had just won like every award at the Nepali film awards. What I don't know the term, but they won like every award. So it was huge, and I had to find a way to get a little bit of their life mixed with mine to share that.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Now,
that's
Melody, I'm
Challenge.
sorry. Melody, I want to. Okay, my friend Dave U-Haul has just joined us. Hello, Dave. Can you hear
Hello,
me?
hello. I can
Okay,
hear you
Dave U-Haul, let
fine.
me give you a little background. He was the bass guitarist. He's played with members of the Ramones. He's played with the Rattlers. He's played with like the person who's in Almost Famous, the critic. He's played with him. He's collaborated with the writer of I Love Rock and Roll. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Hello, hello. First, I'm really very technical here, so I don't know. Is my I don't know if my picture's on. I've been
Yeah, your picture
updating.
is on. Yeah, you look
Okay,
really
because well,
good.
thank you. I've been updating I've been updating my phone for about an hour in order to do this. I think I'm
Oh my
still
God,
on.
thank you so much.
I'm
I need to
I'm
say something about Dave. Now, I met him in, I think it was 2013. I was in New York City it was
yes.
a private showing at the Pop International Galleries in New York City. And it was, Arno Elias was the artist. But anyway, so me and him, we started talking. And it was like, some people you meet and you just have immediate connection. It was like that with me and Melody too. Like you just meet someone and you just know you're going to be friends for life. And I remember we were talking about something, and was telling him something about my experience. I was like, oh, and then I just woke up. And then he pulled out his CD from he has a solo like CD, and it's called the Walter Mitty Project. Is it the Walter Mitty Group? And the CD's name
Walter
is,
Rehman.
yeah, it's and then you woke up. So I was like, oh my
Yes.
God, like, it was an instant connection. So will you please tell us, like, you've been the bass guitarist for so many bands. You've actually written music too.
Yes.
So can you just tell me some of your experiences? Like, what is your most memorable? I know you told me that you've even written a comic strip, but in music wise, what was your most memorable experience?
My most memorable experience.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Just performing in front of people and getting great responses from them. Getting the excitement, and the communication and the intensity going from audience to the stage, and and those are always good experiences. Also, going on stage and playing and not having any technical difficulties is always a great experience. But performing in front of people, and I think well, today it's different because with social media and stuff, it's not like after you play you get into the car and leave. You basically go out and speak to your fans or the audience. And I think my greatest experience is when people come up to me and say, I never heard your music, or whatever, and I really enjoyed what you did. And I think that's the greatest experience that you can ever get from people and your music. As far as playing goes, I've played with a lot of different people, and it's always an honor to play with different people, especially people that you admire, and have really great talent, and just being part of that process. It's a great feeling. Unfortunately, today, because we're going through these COVID times, a lot of people are not playing, and I live in New York City, and it's very it's very emotional that you can't go out and see a group. There are things people are doing to try to make it a little bit by playing outdoors, and they're trying to do all sorts of things, but we keep having all these spikings and resurgences, and everything that opens up, then it closes down again. So it's very, very difficult for musicians and also actors. Well, a lot of people are suffering right now because of
Yeah.
this
Jamie, if
COVID
you
thing.
need to go, then I totally understand. Because I know you have a busy schedule. So it's like,
I do. I'm good for like another 5.
Oh, okay, because Dave's really an interesting person to learn
Yeah.
from. Now, Dave co-wrote a song for the Rattlers. I'm going to play it. Here it goes. He co-wrote that.
Okay. Very
Whose
nice.
victim are you not going to be?
I don't know if you got this, but I sent you a link. I sent you a link that something that I did before the pandemic. I don't know if
Wait,
you
let
can
me
play
see.
that,
Did you
but
email it to me?
I put it to you on Messenger.
Okay, let me see just now. So okay, so you played with the Ramones. Like there's a street in New York City named after the lead singer, and
Yes.
you were a big part of the punk rock like scene. And so what was that like?
Well, it was very exciting time in New York. I just want to say that I played with members of the Ramones. I didn't play with all of the
Yeah.
Ramones, but I did do some recording with them, and it was a very exciting time in New York City. We had a scene, and there were a lot of great bands coming up. And we had venues to play in. One of the biggest venues, obviously, was CBGB's, and a lot of talent came out of that of that performing place. Like the Ramones, Talking Heads, bands like Television were playing, and a lot of different people. I mean, it was a beginning of a surgence of new music and original music, and it was just quite it was a very exciting time. By
Yeah.
the way, I want to mention that my friend Chris France from the Talking Heads. I don't know. I'm sure you put that band.
Yes.
He just wrote a book called Remain in Love, and it's a great book. I just finished reading it, and if you really want to know some inside details about what happened during that particular time, I highly recommend reading that book, Remain in Love. Great book. He's a great drummer. His wife Tina is a great bass player, and Talking Heads was a great band. But even better is Tom Tom Club, which is Chris's and Tina's other band. Great band,
Well, we'll
Tom
have
Tom
to
Club.
check that out. Melody, Madhu, Jamie, you have anything you want to ask Dave?
It's just so fascinating to hear everything that he's done and all the things that he's been exposed to. Always a pleasure to learn about these artists.
What about you,
Well,
Jamie?
I just
Oh.
I just wish I was a fly on the wall at CBGB back in the day.
I have to say that I was very blessed to be there and to see a lot of that because, as I said, it was really exciting, and it was also you saw the progression of how people started and how they progressed and how they got to where they were. That they blossomed into what they became. CB's was a great place to go to hear other people play music. Also for you to play music yourself. We just don't have that anymore in New York, which is unfortunate. There's not really a music scene per se anymore, and I think a lot of that is due to the technology and it's different today. I mean, back in those days, they had record companies, so they really controlled the music. So the thing was, you had to get signed to a label. It was a whole different process. I mean, today, you can make a CD in your apartment, and with all the promotion you could do on social media. As I said, back in the day, you had the record company, and if you weren't signed to a record label, you really couldn't get that promotion because there wasn't social media back then like there is today.
Now,
So
what I wanted, I did
it was
get
a whole different
I'm
ballgame.
sorry, I did get the thing you sent me on Messenger. Do you want me to play it? Because after all your experience with other bands, you formed your own solo group, and this is actually about your CD is an autographical, like I guess journey of your life
Yes.
and its experiences. Okay, so let me play what you
Yes.
sent me. Okay, hold on.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
You can see it a little bit. So that's him in the black shirt jamming. That's what he looks like when he's moving, not just his picture. Oh, get down on stage, Dave. So now tell me, like, so what stories did you include, like, in your autographical CD?
Okay, well, let me tell you, that song was called "What People Do for Money,"
Okay.
and I always said it's very funny what people do for money, and that song is about basically people going to work every day trying to make a dollar. And one of the things that I would do is I would go on the subway, and while I was on the train, I would have all these people. Not all these people, but a lot of crazy people would be going into the train and doing acrobatics and singing and doing all these crazy things while you're trying to get to work. I was actually once hit in the head by a guy who was doing aerobatic things, which they're not supposed to really do on the train. And I got hit in the head by this guy who was like, he was like on one of the poles and, trying to do his act. So I just, it's just about the craziness of how, people getting up every day and going to work and having to, make money and what they have to deal with during the course of the day. So, I mean, just, because, me, I was on the train, for years, going back and forth to work. So I just thought it would be a song that people could relate to. So
well, you and Melody have a connection. She grew up in upstate New York. So you're both from the same state. Where did you grow up, Dave? Where in New York? Did you grow up in New York, right?
I grew up in Forest Hills, which is where the Ramones grew up also. That's how I basically know them from the neighborhood. So, Forest Hills, very interesting area. A lot of talent, I have to say, came out. Simon and Garfunkel were from Forest Hills. A lot of people. Leslie West was from Forest Hills. It was a mecca for dysfunctional people learning how to play music and doing acting and things like that. But,
well, this has been a fun show. Like, I can't believe it's already almost 2:00. I only have an hour. I feel like this show could go on for hours and hours. I would love to have all of you back on my show so we can discuss different things, because I know Dave is a wealth of knowledge. We all are. Jamie, Melody and Madhu are my team. Like, they're going to help me with different shows. This has been a great experience. Thank you so much for everyone for being on my show, and to everyone who watched it. God bless everyone. Now, if everyone's to leave the show, you press the X. Leave the studio.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't believe you. I mean, like, I'm honored that you went to such great lengths to be on my show, and I'm really. I can't wait till we have a reunion too. I haven't seen you since 2014.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
I would say wait a while before you come to New York. It's not exactly.
Oh yeah.
It's not exactly.
Yeah, I will do. I have to wrap up my show. So thank you, everyone. God bless everyone. Bye.
Nice to meet you guys.
Congratulations. Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye now.